Happy Wednesday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the Grand Poobah. So, tonight is Wednesday, July 10th. This is episode 330 of The Daily Dope. So, welcome aboard. It is a Wargame Wednesday. So, if you are stopping by for the first time, let me point out this is a live stream. It is very casual, and I normally will share some tabletop gaming news, do a game unboxing, game review. Maybe I'll be looking at an RPG book. Who knows? Except on Wednesdays, odds are pretty good. I'll be looking at some conflict simulation, and tonight is no different. I will be unboxing and taking a first look at 1754 Conquest, the French and Indian War, from Academy Games. Yes, plus I even have the little expansion, the Native Alliance deck that we will take a look at as well. So I see we've got chat already rocking and rolling. Yes, I have something different that I'm using for chat today, so I can see already that I can tell who's in chat. So that's sweet, because for some strange reason, my chat client that I was using before was poo-pooing out on me. Start up the show and it'd be showing nobody in chat, and all these other people are actually in chat saying hi. And I guess they were all thinking I was just ignoring them. But that was not the case. So as I mentioned, because this is a live stream, there is chat available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of these stranger commenters at bay, but I do pay attention to the chat. So if you want to say hello, or maybe you've got a question, or maybe there's something about 1754 Conquest you want to get a closer look at, by all means, please chime in. I will respond. If you do like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you check out some of the videos on the Gaming Gang channel, and you like the channel, by all means, subscribe. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that little bell, because it will not only tell you when new videos have been uploaded, because I do produce videos outside just the Daily Dope, but it will also tell you when the stream goes live within about 5 minutes or so. So who do we got so far? We got Kabuki Kid, we got Dan from No Enemies Here, and we've got Lead Magnet has stopped by, as well as Hubcam 210. Howdy, gang. Good to have you joining me tonight. So, do want to mention, before I jump into the tabletop gaming news tonight, do have that contest going on, don't forget. So, I am giving away the core set for Pathfinder's adventure card game. This is the new edition. So, I've got the core set to give away. I have the first adventure path, the Curse of the Crimson Throne, to give away. Plus, I've even got promo cards. Yes, I've got the first deck of promo cards here. So, that is going to be the giveaway through July, and it's pretty easy to get into the running. So, all you have to do is be a subscriber to the Gaming Gang channel. That's easy enough. And just comment on one of the videos on the Gaming Gang channel. It doesn't matter which one, but from now until August 5th, you can do this, and if I reach 1,600 subscribers, I'll give one copy of the prize pack out. If I reach 1,800 subscribers, I will give 2 copies of that prize pack out. And if I can crack 2,000 subscribers, I've got 3 copies to give away. So the reality is, helping to spread the word and telling your friends to subscribe and make a comment actually helps you out. So, not too shabby, right? So Dan from No Enemies Here is asking, where is Rob Moffat? So Rob was someone who actually was like always here on Wargame Wednesdays. I have not seen him around in chat in a while. I have not seen comments as far as on the videos either. So I don't know. I have no idea. Actually, I have not heard from Rob showing up in chat since Origins Game Fair, strangely enough. And it was funny because I know he had commented that, hey, he wanted to meet up at Origins Game Fair and that. I don't know. Never heard from him there either. So maybe he felt weird that he didn't contact me. I mean, it's okay with me. I'm not concerned about it. And no, Dan, I don't need your address as far as that contest goes. You have to win first. Oh, and I do have to point out, you have to live in the United States or Canada. So yes, that does put Dan in the running. I don't know. Okay, everybody but Dan in Canada. I'm kidding. But you do have to live in the United States or Canada to be in the running for the contest because I am on the hook for the shipping on this. So gotta admit, those boxes are pretty hefty too. So unless for some strange reason you live outside the US and you want to pay for the shipping, then by all means, you're welcome. You're welcome to be part of the contest. So anyway, got a lot of stuff cooking tonight. I've got quite a bit of news that we can cover. And then, of course, I'm going to jump into the unboxing for 1754 Conquest, the French and Indian War. So I do want to point out, I know there are folks out there who do not like the tabletop gaming news. And for some strange reason, it tends to usually be on Wargame Wednesdays that I get complaint comments about the tabletop gaming news. Do have to point out, if you do not dig the tabletop gaming news and you are not watching live, take a peek below. There are show notes. There are timestamps. You can skip right on past the tabletop gaming news if that is your gig. Of course, if you are watching live, you're kind of a captive audience. Although you can walk off, go have a sandwich, grab a drink, have an adult beverage if you want. So, like I said, I've got a good amount of news, but we're going to bust through this fairly quickly. So, first off, I do want to point out there is a new release that is available for pre-order from my friends over at Tiny Battle Publishing. And I've got the dope on Donetsk, Battle for the Airport. A rebadging of the game originally found in Flying Pig Games' Yeah magazine number 9. Donetsk is a squad-level tactical game that simulates the battles for the Donetsk airport in the Ukraine through 2014-2015. I think it was like last days of December and into January, if I remember correctly. You control squads, RPGs, and machine gun teams, BTRs, T-64 tanks, snipers, and more as you attempt to gain control of the airport. I've got dibs on baggage claim. The game comes with 4 scenarios, 88 sharp-looking die-cut counters, and a beautifully illustrated game map. There are some excellent designer notes that will educate those who were unaware of the Russian-backed separatist war with the Ukraine. Currently, you can put in a pre-order right now. Donetsk Battle for the Airport is for 2 players. The pre-order cost is $24. It'll have an eventual MSRP of $28, and the game is expected to ship later this month. So one thing I always have to point out as far as Tiny Battle Publishing as well as Flying Pig Games, both are overseen by my pal Mark H. Walker. They tend to cover topics and genres that are not the same old, same old. Now, granted, yes, of course, they've got bulge games, but still, it's not just the same stuff over and over and over again. So, pretty interesting. I don't know what rebadging something means. It's not, I don't think it's a revamp or anything like that. So, not sure what that means. So, Dan from No Enemies here says, Wargamers are a gruff bunch. Yeah, and as Kabuki Kid says, yeah, they can be, and I agree. They can be. They can be very, not all of them. It's like anything else with this hobby, right? The vast majority of people are cool. 99.9% of them are cool. They're just not vocal. It's that like 0.1% who are like a super pain in the ass that just never shut up, and they complain about everything and think they know about everything and have every answer. And of course, that's not the case. All right, moving right along. AEG is going to be releasing an expansion to Thunderstone Quest this November, and I've got the dope on the Barricade mode. The various threats surrounding Thunderstone Keep have gotten wise to the champions and their parties raiding their dungeons and foiling their plans. So they brought the fight to your doorstep. Barricades presents a new cooperative way to play in which the champions work together to defend the keep from an endless onslaught of monsters led by the biggest bad guys around. Barricades mode expands Thunderstone Quest to be played by 1 to 6 players cooperatively. Standard core game is 1 to 4 players. So, Thunderstone Quest is a deck building game where players compete to see who can score the most victory points when the game ends. In deck building games, your objective is to try to assemble the best possible deck to achieve the play strategy you prefer based on the options that are assembled for each game and the random challenges you'll need to overcome. In Thunderstone Quest, you'll be playing an adventure which is comprised of a set of dungeon tiles and a selection of monsters, treasures, and challenges that are themed to that dungeon. You'll get the sense of a dramatic campaign as you grow stronger and finally confront the Guardian. Depending on which cards you buy and which adversaries you defeat, you'll earn victory points. After the Guardian encounter is over, the player with the most victory points is the winner. Thunderstone Quest Barricade mode is for 1 to 6 players, ages 14 and up, plays in about 30 to 90 minutes, and will carry an MSRP of $39.99 when it arrives in November. So I had heard about this Barricade mode, and they had a recent Thunderstone Quest Kickstarter for some new adventures, which aren't new to the people who got the Champions level Kickstarter brick, right? Which is right over my shoulder, right here. I'm pointing at here. But for those who just bought the core game, they're new. And in the Kickstarter, it kept talking about, oh, well, it's all compatible with Barricade mode, and you can use this in Barricade mode. And I kept thinking, did I miss something? What is Barricade mode? Where is it? Now I know. So Kabuki Kid says, yeah, I've seen gamers be warm and welcoming. You get both sides of the coin sometimes. I gotta be honest, you usually get the good side of the coin a great amount of time, as opposed to the crappy side of the coin. So Janae Q, taking a guess, or Janet Q, is popping into chat. Good to have you aboard. I believe you are a first-time chatter, I guess we'll say, first time in chat, so welcome. So it says, if it has more cards, the more, the better. I'm playing it. Yes, Thunderstone Quest Barricade mode will have more cards. I believe those cards are actually going to be focused towards the kind of like a tower defense aspect of it. We really enjoy Thunderstone Quest. I know I've talked to some folks that are like, oh, well, you know, I like my old Thunderstone. I'm not going to make the change. And I understand that because there was a lot of stuff that came out for Thunderstone previously. But I gotta say, I like what they did with Thunderstone Quest, especially with the light. The light aspect was always kind of wonky in the past, and now they've actually cleaned that up quite a bit. Nice job by Mike Elliott. So those of you out there who enjoy family games, R&R Games has a new title on the horizon, and I've got the dope on Outback. I'm not talking about steaks. You're deep in the outback in Australia, in the desolate landlocked desert. Help the rangers take care of the animals there. New animals need to be settled and strategically located in the outback. Points, lots of points, are at stake. Who will be able to garner the most points by relocating their animals? Will it be you? Yes, you. The zoo animals want to go back to their wildlife habitat. Kangaroo, koala, platypus, emu, and lizard. All of them are in the Jeep, ready to go. Players in Outback want to populate the Outback and build many different populations. With dice luck and tactics, you try to fill your board and collect as many points as possible. Outback is a push your luck dice game that's fun for all ages. Its unique scoring mechanism means 2 animals must reach top row for all to score. The double-side board and team play rules provide excellent replay options. Outback is for 2 to 4 players ages 8 and up, plays in 30 to 45 minutes, and it will carry an MSRP of $39.99 when it releases. As of right now, I don't have any information about a release date yet. Info is out at distributors, so I would assume we're looking at sometime before Christmas. Don't know. I did take a peek at R&R Games, and they are listing the game, so that's a bonus, because sometimes I get info about games that's so fresh that the websites for the companies haven't even posted the info yet. So, yes, Kabuki Kid, I agree. That little Jeep does look kind of fun. It does look kind of interesting, and you put the different animals on the Jeep. So, those of you who enjoyed A Call to Adventure from Brotherwise Games should be excited because a new expansion is coming this October. Here's the dope. Call to Adventure, the Name of the Wind, is the first expansion to the hit hero-building game Call to Adventure. Set in the world of the New York Times bestselling King Killer Chronicles series, the Name of the Wind expansion allows players to build heroes and tell their stories in Patrick Rothfuss's rich and compelling world. Call to Adventure Name of the Wind is a 75-card expansion for Call to Adventure, as mentioned, based on the King Killer Chronicles. This expansion and others to follow add new challenges, new destinies, and mechanisms unique to the author's world to the base game. The Shuffle In expansion includes all new origins, motivations, destinies, story cards, and hero and anti-hero cards, and it introduces an all-new mechanic, naming. I have no idea what that would be. It's a must-buy for fans of Call to Adventure and for fans of the books. Call to Adventure, the Name of the Wind. Wouldn't that be wind? Just saying, would the Name of the Wind be wind? Is for 2 to 4 players, ages 13 and up, plays in 30 to 60 minutes, and will carry an MSRP of $19.95 when it arrives on October 9th. So I have to say, I enjoyed Call to Adventure. I've got a review. I reviewed it on the Daily Dope. You know, some people out there are not too keen on it. And one thing that I had pointed out was your enjoyment of the game is really going to be bolstered by doing a little role-playing with it. Instead of just automatically just saying, oh, this card is this card is this, this card is this. I could see where people would find it a little bit flat if they don't actually kind of invest themselves in the story that's being told. So moving on to another fantasy game, there is a dragon-based game with its tongue firmly placed in cheek, and it's coming from Greater Than Games, and I've got the dope on Trogdor! Exclamation point, the board game. Although I have to admit, everything I keep reading about Trogdor has an exclamation point, but the box does not. Don't know. For centuries, the legendary Wingaling dragon, Trogdor the Burninator, has terrorized the peasant kingdom of peasantry with his scorching flames and greased-up, beefy arm. Yes, you heard that correctly. The dragon has a greased-up, beefy arm. And you can see it in the picture. Now he is descended from the mountains once again and will not stop until he burninates the entire countryside and all those unfortunate enough to get in his way. A cult of hooded creepos, calling themselves the Keepers of Trogdor, have devoted their lives to aiding the mighty dragon in his quest for total and complete burnination. That's where you come in. In Trogdor the board game, you and up to 5 friends, or maybe people you just paid to come over, take on the roles of these acolytes of the Burninator, each with their own unique abilities and magical items. Take turns guiding Trogdor on his destructive lost weekend around peasantry. Help him avoid pesky knights and archers, devour peasants, burninate the countryside, and of course, the thatched roof cottages. The game is supported by a rad soundboard to enhance your gameplay with cool music and super sound effects. Also, the rules are available in the form of a rocking online EP. Check it out. Trogdor the board game is for 2 to 6 players, ages 14 and up, plays in around an hour, and it will carry an MSRP of $60 when it arrives this fall. It seems really kind of wild. It's bizarre. Kabuki Kid says that their gaming group just played, I believe it is Outback, because this new edition from R&R Games, I should point out, is I believe it's the North American release, because I think it's from, how do you pronounce that? It's Huch, like Hutch Games. Oh, Kabuki says it was Trogdor. Really? That's pretty wild. Yeah, this is, they're talking about, Greater Than Games is talking about a fall release, but I have seen some images of a print on demand, or like print and play, I should say, edition of the game. I've also seen like miniatures from the game as well, so I don't know. I honestly don't know. I do know the information sent to distributors is saying that the game doesn't come out until this fall. So I don't know. Talking about something that's already out, let's move into some role-playing game news. My final news piece, Catalyst Game Labs Shadowrun the Sixth World Beginner Box is now available digitally, and I've got the dope. Risk it all. Shadows darken and deepen. They're cast by the enormous, world-striding mega corporations that grasp for power and strangle humanity in their clutches. By 2080, most of the planet has given in, bowing and scraping before their corporate overlords. Haven't we already done that? Selling their souls to the almighty New Yen. The corpse gotta make $1 trillion, no matter who dies. But in the darkest depths, defiance flickers. Spikes, mohawks, and tattoos flash, while blades and appetites sharpen. The ignored and the marginalized refuse to be ground down, and their reactions set their destiny. They may seek to repair the world's injustices, or build wealth to keep themselves safe, or just strike a match and watch the world burn. Regardless of the chosen path, they stand up and survive. They're called Shadowrunners, and they risk everything. Wrestling magical energies, channeling them into power, pitting their minds against the electronic void of the Matrix, trading flesh and blood for chrome and steel to become more than human. Will you stand up, join them, and dare to risk it all? Nah, I'm a wimp. I'll pass. I'll just keep bowing and scraping to my corporate overlords. I'm just kidding. Right now, you can download the beginner box for Shadowrun 6th Edition from DriveThruRPG for $9.99. I did an unboxing for the Shadowrun 6th World beginner box. I have a review coming up on it as well. And if you saw the unboxing, I'm telling you, those dice were sweet. And there's a bunch of them too, so that was pretty cool. Do want to mention, talking about DriveThruRPG, the Gaming Gang, and thus the Daily Dope are affiliates of the One Bookshelf sites, a la DriveThruRPG, DriveThruCards, DriveThruFiction, Wargame Vault. So if you are going to swing by any one of those websites, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banners. DriveThruRPG is always up top. Wargame Vault's down at the bottom of the page. And that way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. Very, very small. But thankfully, a lot of people out there actually do this. And all those little pieces add up to a pretty decent piece of pie. So that usually actually takes care of the hosting for the gaminggang.com every month. And I do not have cheapo hosting either. So Flaming Huron's popping in. Oh, so Kabuki Kid is saying that Trogdor the board game was at a convention at DexCon in New Jersey. Very nice. Very cool. So, yes, Flaming Huron's popping in. Got here just in time for the unboxing and catching the end of the news. Good to see you, Flaming Huron. Thanks for joining us again. So, I am going to be unboxing 1754 Conquest, the French and Indian War, in just a couple of moments. Did want to mention, I got the War of the Worlds, the U.S. East Coast edition, in the mail today from R&R Games. Yes, this looks pretty cool. This is another solitaire game. So what I'm thinking of doing, I'll show you the back of the box. See if I can tilt that, get rid of some of that glare. But I am thinking I'm going to shoot a standalone unboxing video of this and get this out ASAP, because I'd like to jump into this. I really would. So I did hear back from R&R Games. They really dug the Warfighter Modern review that I did last week. So they have not started to share it, but according to their PR person, she said, yeah, they were going to make sure that they spread the word on it. So I don't know. So keep an eye out for that unboxing within the next couple of days. I've got some other videos that I shot that are standalones that are going to be popping up. I also wanted to shoot some stuff to kind of release when I'm out in San Diego for Comic-Con next week. So the channel's not completely dead until I get back. So anyway, what's happening the rest of this week? So on tomorrow's show, I will be reviewing the Dungeons & Dragons Essential Kit. Yes, it's not a starter set. It is an Essentials Kit, but it's a starter set. And I've got good things to say about this. So that will be on tomorrow's show, because on Thursdays, I always love to talk RPGs. And yes, No Enemies Here and Kabuki Kid are both saying, yeah, DVG. Thumbs up. Good stuff. I agree. I completely agree. So anyway, on Friday's show, I already have my own copy. I just figured I wouldn't drag it down here. Just use the shrink-wrapped giveaway copy here. But I will be reviewing the core set for the Pathfinder adventure card game on Friday. We played quite a lot of that over the weekend. Then, as stuff starts falling down all over the place, on Monday's show, I will be reviewing Robotech, Attack on the SDF-1 from Japanime Games. So that will be on Monday's show, and then I will be out in San Diego. So I will not have another show until the following Tuesday. I'm not going to schedule anything for Monday, because I like to kind of recuperate on the Monday after conventions, and we fly on buddy passes. So it is not unusual for us to not make it out of San Diego on Sunday night and have to wait until Monday to fly back out. So Dan keeps asking if I need his address. No, I don't need it. So as far as that contest, I am going to announce the winner or winners, hopefully, on August 6th. So that Tuesday show, I will be announcing the winners. Or winner, or nobody wins. Although, I did crack 1,500 subscribers, which YouTube's weird. It'll add subscribers, drop subscribers, add subscribers, drop subscribers. It's weird. So I'm sure tomorrow it'll say 1498. But right now it says 1501. So we need 99 more subscribers before August 5th. I don't think that's so bad. That's not undoable, right? So anyway, wait. Before I jump into the unboxing, it's time for a little magic from Lil Whizbub. Yes, that's right. Lil Whizbub wants me to remind you that if you are a fan of thegaminggang.com or the Gaming Gang channel or the Daily Dope, then you already know that it's all pretty much a not-for-profit endeavor. So if you like the site, the channel, or the show, please consider making a small donation to Lil Bub's Big Fund and the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. Lil Bub's Big Fund does provide grant monies to organizations around the United States that helps care for special needs animals who are awaiting adoption. These animals may have mobility issues, they may be older, they may be blind or deaf, or require medications on a daily basis. Regardless, these pets do deserve good homes and they have plenty of love to give. So, as I mentioned, if you like the show, if you like the channel, if you like the website, please consider throwing a couple of bucks towards Lil Bub's Big Fund. 100% of all funds raised is granted out. That's important for me to point out because that is not always the case with charities. And that's also not always the case with the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals as well. But Lil Bub's Big Fund is a little bit different. Of course, if you do make a small donation, feel free to shoot me an email. My email address is down there in the corner. It's jeffmcaleer@thegaminggang.com. Let me know. You don't need to prove anything. And if you would like, I'll be more than happy to give you a shout out on the following show. Okay, so I'm sure folks are tuning in because they want to take a peek at 1754 Conquest, the French and Indian War from Academy Games. It's designed by Bo Beckett and Jeff Stahl, with artwork and graphic design provided by Jarek Nokon and Steve Paschal. The game is for 2 to 4 players, ages 10 and up, plays in about an hour or two, and does carry an MSRP of $55.99. Do want to point out, the MSRP is kind of up in the air. I have seen it for all different prices, and at the Academy Games website, I could not find just the core game as far as making a purchase. Everything was like bundled. I had different bundles there. So I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't looking hard enough. That's a possibility. All right, so let's switch on over to the other camera because I've got 1754 Conquest right here. I also have the Native Alliance deck that we will look at in just a few moments. I am a big fan of 1812 Invasion of Canada, which was the first game in the Birth of America series. So, some reason Dan from No Enemies here is like, yay! I'm not sure why. I don't know. So anyway, so 1812 was the first in the Birth of America series. I really dug it. I liked it a lot. It was a great introductory war game to teach people about conflict simulations without it looking and acting and walking and quacking like a standard hex encounter war game. So I do understand that the French and Indian War did introduce some new mechanics, some new aspects to the Birth of America series, which is usually the case with Birth of America, or now they've got Birth of Europe, which is the Vikings, what is it, 827 or something like that? Which, interestingly enough, I guess 1754 came out around the same time as Vikings did, and everybody just jumped on picking up Vikings, so 1754 kind of flew under the radar. So Gunther Eckhart asked me to do a review of 1754 because it didn't get enough love. So, or at least he felt it didn't get enough love. And Kabuki Kid says, I love this entire line of Academy Games. Yeah, it's super easy to get into these and very easy to play. Thank you, Lead Magnet. It was 878 Vikings. So let's open this on up. And I don't know why I took my reading specs off after I put them on. So we got a draw bag. So I know we got, we'll have that. So we've got just a plain black draw bag here. We've got our deck of cards. I'll put that off to the side. We've got our custom dice. We've got our desiccant. So I will not be snacking on this, so I will just get rid of that. So we'll take a look at the custom dice in just a sec. We've got, these look like these are almost, yeah, they're little shields that go on something to protect something. So we'll have to see what that is in a moment. So we've got that. We have just a small punch board with some tokens on it. So we've got the British, then we've got the French. These look like these might be forts or fortifications of some sort. Kabuki Kid says 878 Vikings is probably their favorite of this style. Because it's a different series, but it's still kind of the same base design. So we've got control markers. So that's what these are. Okay. Speaking of 878 Vikings, we've got an advertisement right there for it with somebody who looks quite a bit like the main character for History Channel's Vikings. Then we've got quite a few of the other historical titles from Academy Games. I know a lot of people started freaking out about Agents of Mayhem because it's like a superhero game, and it's like I don't think Academy Games is going to completely abandon their historical titles. In fact, they've got One Small Step, which is going to be coming to Kickstarter. I don't think it's on Kickstarter yet because I never got any news from Academy saying it was on there. But that will be the Space Race. So we got the rule book. So let's move this out of the way here, and we will take a look at the rule book. So first off, you can tell not a lot of rules, so it's going to be pretty easy to get into. Another thing I really liked about 1812 was that it pretty much had a timing mechanic built right into the game. So, and that was your decks of cards. So you would only play so far into it. Once you'd played all your cards, that was it. That was the end of the game. So another cool thing was I always felt that the game did not overstay its welcome. So you could always once you knew how to play, you could pretty much get a game in within about 90 minutes or so. So Dan says, very Euro looking, very smart for attracting Euro people to Wargames. Uwe's a genius. I've met Uwe a couple of times. He's very, very nice. I interviewed his son, Gunta, at Origins. So we've got basically a breakdown, choosing your faction, setting up units, control markers. Yep, okay, so those are forts. Oh, muster markers. Okay, yes, that's another new mechanic that was added to 1754 because you need to kind of recruit the colonials and the Native Americans. So talking about the cards, placing additional units, turn cubes, round pawn, and talking about a short introductory game. So the 4 factions that we have in the core game, because we get a new faction with the Native Alliance, we've got the British Colonials, the Americans basically, the British Regulars, French Canadians, and French Regulars. So we've got the game overview, talking about gameplay, reinforcements phase, movement phase, an example of movement. These rules are really simple to grasp, too. I was at Con SimWorld Expo, and I taught a couple of game designers and some folks who were just there at the con how to play 1812, and boom, it was like 15 minutes, and we were into the game. Talking about the battle phase, which is what you use the dice for, showing battle examples. Game and victory. So I'm taking a guess you played to the Treaty of Paris. Wasn't that what ended the 7 Years' War? I'm pretty sure it was the Treaty of Paris. So then we get some historical notes as well. Get some card clarifications. And just a few more historical notes. All told, 12 pages, but we got a lot of images, so pretty simple to grasp these rules. All right, so that is the rule book. I will show off. Let's take a look at the board. Got the board here. You got a nice plastic insert. I'm trying to remember if there was an insert for 1812 when it first came out. Do see Dan from No Enemies Here has to get going. Yes, he's overstayed his welcome by about 10 minutes. He's getting yelled at. Get off that damn computer. Quit watching that dude. Guy's an idiot. Yeah, I know how it works at his house. So anyway, I don't remember there being a plastic insert when 1812 first came out. I might be wrong, but I am pretty sure. So we've got all these cubes, and all these cubes actually represent your forces. So they, let's see, we've got, I think white might represent something else. Oh, we've got the purple, the green, the yellow, we've got red, and then we've got white. So that's what the cubes are mainly utilized for. So we've got that. So that's cool. I like this. I like this little plastic insert here. So we've got the board. The board I don't recall being huge, but I do remember it being a pretty decent size. So probably gonna have to move this stuff out of the way here to open it up. Yeah, it's it's a little bigger than I recall 1812 being. But it's not huge. Okay, so I will zoom out a little bit so to kind of give us a better idea. So we have, there's the Gulf of St. Lawrence. We've got the Atlantic. Here's Halifax. Six Nations, Algonquins. So you can see that the different areas are also color-coded as well by faction. So we see that. So we get a round marker here. Tells us the turn sequence. This map looks really cool. I'm going to fold this in a little bit. I'll pull this over here so we can kind of see. So then these look like these might represent native tribes. So we see that Fort Oswego, which interestingly enough, that's where my mom has moved to. Not the East Coast, Oswego, Illinois. Just moved in yesterday. So so we get a fort here, but it looks like these might be indications of which tribe. So I'll zoom in a little bit so you can get kind of a better look at how cool this map looks. Here was the rounds, turn sequence, showing like where towns are. So we've got Albany, Boston, there's New York, Philadelphia, Alexandria, Fort Duchesne, Fort Necessity. So very cool. All right. So that is the mounted board. Then we've got the dice and we've got the cards. So look at the dice here. And one of the aspects about the game here with the dice is that each of the factions' dice are a little bit different. So as you can see, we've got 3 red. So these are the British regulars. So they get fewer dice, but I bet you they got more hits. These are hits. So I'm guessing that. Okay, so that has nothing. This has nothing on it. It's all blanks. So we've got more hits. So these are like, if I remember correctly, this is like retreat. This is to make enemy units retreat. So, and of course we've got blank. There's absolutely nothing on this purple die either. So that's kind of weird. So these are French regulars. And then green are going to be, I believe these are going to be the Native Americans. So we've got these as well. So the thing is, in the base game, the native tribes can be recruited. They can be mustered by either side. So I believe when we bring in this expansion, this creates them as a completely new faction. So I'm not sure how that might work, but we'll take a peek. So anyway, so those are the dice, nice chunky dice. They are cut, so it is not laser printed on these. So, and as you can tell, we've got the regulars have fewer dice. These are the, I think the yellow were the colonials, and weren't the white the French Canadians, something like that. Maybe I've got them mixed up. All right, so we've got all those dice there. Now let's take a quick peek at the cards. So every faction is going to have a deck. And one of the cool aspects of this game is, I'm sure it hasn't changed, one of the cool aspects, I should say, of 1812 was that you got to play a card once, and that was it. You only got to play a card once, and once you had played it, it was no longer going to be available to you. And the cards were used. Co-op Game of the Year, Freedom. I always thought this looked interesting, but I didn't hear a whole lot about it. Game about the Underground Railroad. So we've got French regulars, French Canadians, British regulars. Oh, okay, so the white are the British colonials, and the yellow were the French Canadians. So I had the colors wrong. So the other thing, too, is these decks are not identical. So there are, like, historical events that are kind of covered with these as well. I'm just kind of sorting these out here. There we go. Hey, then another little ad for 878 Vikings. And as we can see, we don't have any cards with a green back. So what I am going to do here is I'm actually going to add this deck to the proceedings. So this is explaining the expansion here. So now we've got the Native Alliance also in the mix. So we'll just take a quick peek at the core, and then we'll take a look at the Native Alliance as well. So we have movement, an event, Virginia Regiment, another movement card, movement. Now, if this plays like 1812, one of the interesting aspects too was that you've got different factions, but of course the factions are working together. So you could actually move the units from another faction, like that's aligned with you, with a movement card. So you can move your own troops and the other faction's troops if they were in the same location. And the funny thing is, depending on the people you were playing with, that could tick people off. So we've got, there we go, George Washington, who kind of started the French-Indian War, or kind of threw a bit of gasoline on the fire, I guess we'll say, even though they didn't have gasoline back then. Truce, movement, William Pitt, another movement card, and another event. So these are the British colonials. Then we got the French Canadians. So we've got movement, massacre event, more movement, another event, more movement, a bolster reinforcement phase event, truce, movement, and another event. We got the British regulars. Joseph Brant as an event. James Wolfe as an event. Admiral Edward Boscawen. That is not a name that rings any bells for me. William Johnson, there you go. So those are those. So as you can see, most of the cards are devoted to movement. but each faction does get, looks like about 3 events. So these are the French regulars. So we get movement again. Montcalm as an event, truce card. Fortifications. Troupe de la Marine. And the Entreprenants are the events. So what was it? 4 event cards? 1, 2, yep, 4 event cards. So each of the factions gets 4 event cards. So let's take a look at the Native Alliance. So here it tells us we've got Alliance victory cards. It says this expansion exemplifies the impact that the Native nations had on the French and Indian War. Each faction will gain a Native Alliance card that will either give it an extra VP for controlling a key Native area, or give their Native units special powers. So it is not creating a 5th faction for a 5th player. It is just expanding upon the Native tribes. So, talking about victory cards and power cards. So it looks like we've got 15 cards here. So we got a Huron Alliance, Mohawk Alliance, Oneida Alliance. Not even going to try to pronounce that. Abenaki, Shawnee, Senecas, Mingo, Onondaga. It's not a tribe I'm familiar with either. Cayuga, Ottawa, Delaware, Algonquin, and Tuscarora. Okay. So you'll notice some of them are showing like the area. Looks like that's the area that you're probably going to get the extra victory point if you control it. And then some of them are giving you a bonus. So it looks like you're able to move over a water space. It's like adding another tribe cube. Something about fortifications there. Cool, nice. Let's add some new wrinkles into the game. Okay, so we've got, in the core game, we've got the 4 faction decks. So let's start putting all this stuff away here. Zoom back on out. Okay, so we've got all the cubes. We've got the cool insert as well. I'm just going to divide these in half. Oops. Yeah, I'm going to have to take a look to see how this is supposed to be set up. I wonder if you put like cubes in here for each of the factions, possibly. We've got a pawn and a fortification die, which I missed mentioning when I was taking stuff out. So we've got that. We've got all the various different dice. We've got these kind of plastic, they're almost like shields, but I'm not sure what they would go on. That's kind of weird. So we've got, well, let's do this. We got the cool board. So we got the board right there. We got these plastic shields. We've got the punch board. We've got the draw bag, because you'll draw the cubes out of here for like reinforcements and stuff. And then we've got the rules and the little advertisement, and that is what we find when we take everything outside the box for 1754 Conquest, the French and Indian War. Euripides Ghost has popped in. Thank you. Welcome aboard. Welcome to chat. So Euripides Ghost says, I think those are covers. They cover each of the 6 little boxes. Hey, you know what? I bet you're right. And yes, each box is going to hold 1 color, cubes, and dice. Yes, for each of the factions. That's kind of weird how... Well, I'll take a look later on. But yeah, that's kind of odd how they've got that. They slide on top. Cool deal. Thank you. So yeah, Hubcam 210 is saying, yeah, it looks pretty interesting. Like I said, we loved 1812. We really, really enjoyed it a lot. So used to play it all the time. In fact, somebody who was a game designer wanted to buy my copy, and because it was sold out, you couldn't get it anywhere, and they wanted to purchase it. And I was like, yeah, I guess. And they're like, well, yeah, because I want to steal some of the mechanics. And I was like, no. It's like, okay. So anyway, as I mentioned, 1754 is available now. Conquest, the French and Indian War. It is available from Academy Games. Came out in 2017, and it is for 2 to 4 players, ages 10 and up. Plays in about 1 or 2 hours, and it does carry an MSRP of $55.99. So on tomorrow's show, I will be reviewing the D&D Essentials Kit, which is currently an exclusive at Target through early September. So it is not going to actually arrive at other retailers or online stores or anything like that until, I want to say, I think it's September 5th, if memory serves me right. But I am going to be reviewing that tomorrow, and I'll give you a hint. I was very impressed. Wizards of the Coast did up their game as far as a starter box. So yes, Euripides Ghost is like, cool, Essentials Kit. Gotta wait for it, though. Yes, if you don't have Target nearby, or if you don't want to order from Target, then you do have to wait until September. But at least I'll give you the heads up on what's inside and what I think. All right, so that's it for tonight's show. So as I like to point out, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. By now, you know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. I'm Jeff McAleer. I will be back tomorrow. Everybody enjoy your Wednesday night. If you were in chat with me tonight, thank you very much for hanging out and keeping me company. And of course, if you're watching after the fact, I love you just as well. So don't think I don't. So as I mentioned, I will be back tomorrow. So until next time, take care, everybody. Thanks again for watching The Daily Dope, presented by The Gaming Gang. If you like this episode, be sure to give it a quick thumbs up. And if you dig the channel, please subscribe. If you'd like to check out our previous episode, click right here. And if you want to check out a somewhat randomly selected episode, give a click right down here. It'll be like opening a box of Cracker Jacks. You just don't know what you'll get. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'm Jeff McAleer.